And then, and so now I'm going to bring up our speaker, Leonard Adams, and his full bio is on your back of your program. So I'll let you read that bio, and I'll just kind of say a personal reflection about Leonard. You know, Leonard's been working in these communities a long time, and I was lucky because the Westside Future Fund was launched with the support of the mayor of Atlanta, the previous mayor, along with the corporate leadership, the Blank Family Foundation. You know, that's a great launch group. Leonard came over as an entrepreneur trying to figure out how to help people, I think starting with veterans, and he didn't have that kind of a leadership group. He did it through his own determination, entrepreneurism, and just all-in hard work, and he has built a great organization that has made the difference in lots of lives in the Westside Quest communities. And so it's been a great honor to work with Leonard, and he's going to come up and talk about what they're up to. So let's go ahead and bring up Leonard Adams.
Thanks, sir. All righty. Good morning. John was kind. I hope this group here is because of me. This is a large crowd. Would you say so? Okay. Well, first, before I start, I want to say, give some recognition to our board chair. If you could stand up, Beverly Rice, and the entire staff at Quest Community Development Organization. I couldn't do it without these guys and ladies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Rodney Bullard was before me, and that's a hard act to follow, as well as John. But it seemed like the theme of the day is around heroes or service and superhero and superpowers. So I was thinking in the back while I was listening to Rodney, and I thought, one thing I think I didn't hear him say is that superheroes have these logos or these shields on their chests, right? So I thought I would go and get my my shield and my logo, and when I take this suit off and go into the phone booth, I come out like this. So this is my logo, everyone. And Aisha, this is your shirt. Yeah. So I want to say I'm rarely nervous on events like this, but today it seemed like it took me back to grad school at Kennesaw State in the leadership program in Leadership Atlanta. There was this pose that you were supposed to do to kind of gain power or gain strength. Anybody heard of that before in coaching? They said the power pose, if you ever are going to speak in front of a crowd, you should go to the restroom, and men and women, you should stand like this. And somehow you're supposed to get this energy. I tried it. I'm not sure if it worked. Saw a couple of guys in the restroom. They were looking at me like, what's going on here? But Richard DeGoss was in there with me. So I did want to just talk to you briefly before I go into my presentation. Quest had an assessment done a few months back on the organization and on me as the executive leader. And the assessment was to assess us and come up with different strengths and weaknesses, right? So there was one thing that stood out the most, and it was the suggestion or recommendation from one of the assessors. And they said, Leonard Adams or the Quest should position Leonard to be a affordable housing, community development thought leader. Thought leader. And I said, thought leader. Okay, I got that. I think about affordable housing and community development all the time. So does that make me a thought leader? And I said, well, you know what? On February the 13th, I was supposed to be thinking about Valentine's Day and what gifts I was going to bring my new wife. And instead, I was actually reading headlines that read, oh, here's my clicker. How do I do? Uh-oh. So I was actually reading headlines that said this. So I thought, this must makes me a thought leader, because instead of thinking about the nice chocolates and roses, I was thinking about this headline that I read on February the 13th. And it reads, the Community Development Financial Institutions, which are known as CDFI, fund today awarded $3.5 billion in allocation authority to 73 community development entities, which are CDEs, under the calendar year of 2017, New Market Tax Credits allocation round. The CDFI fund selected awardees from a pool of 230 applicants requesting a total of $16.2 billion in allocation. And I thought, well, if that doesn't make me a thought leader, I don't know what would. But I say this to say, because of the people in the room, this is a melting pot of professionals and service people and organizations. I mean, when you heard those introductions, I was just in the back saying, I would love to work with all of you, because us together, we can change the Westside just like this. It's working in these little silos that's keeping it going too long. So let's get together and be more intentional and purposeful about what we're going to do on the West Side. So you might want to say, well, Leonard, why did you say this headline? What was the reasoning behind this? And it can't be only because you're a thought leader, and it's not. It's because New Market Tax Credits is a tool that can be used to benefit economically underserved communities. And out of those billions of dollars, there were some local organizations or national organizations that are dear to the Georgia area that received this type of money. Invest Atlanta received $60 million in New Market Tax Credit allocations. SunTrust Bank, $70 million. Reinvestment Fund, $70 million. Enterprise Community Partners, $50 million, and then the National Development Council, another $50 million. So with this type of money out there, we have to get together and bring projects that are shovel ready so that we can attract this type of funding. If we don't have any projects, they can't spend this money in the communities where we need it. So we got to get together and get some projects. Quest can't do it alone. Westside Future Fund can't do it alone. We have to do this together. So thank you for letting me just talk a little bit, and I'll get into what I'm really here to say today. I'm going to talk to you today about our Quest West 2020 vision plan. That's over the next 3 years. We're going to invest over $35 million in 3 communities on the West Side. And this, wow, how did it go so fast? But I'd like to start because some of you are not aware or know who Quest is. And pretty much we're a nonprofit development organization that specializes in providing affordable housing and community-based community services for those that are underserved. We've been doing it for 17 years, and we're looking to do it for another 17 years, and we've been on the West Side the entire time. We do have 4 focus areas, and that's property development, property management, accredited social services, and we do have financial services under the Benefit Specialist Program. I want you guys to understand that the reoccurring theme here is going to be service today. Service is in our DNA. We were born as a social service provider. We didn't think of ourselves as developer or real estate people. It was about helping the people that we were housing. And then later on down the line, we started to understand that these assets needed the same type of care that the individuals needed, so we ended up becoming a community development organization and affecting all community development and economic development. That's not me. This thing is very sensitive. So, our mantra, live, work, play, and serve. Remember, you're going to hear serve over and over and over again. You know what live is. Live is housing, right? Affordable housing, equitable housing. Work is jobs, jobs training, jobs placements, leading to careers that people have the ability to be self-sustaining. Play is nothing more than connecting with different parks, different recreation centers, entertainment, so on and so forth. And then we have service, and that's when we have to dig deep and understand that there are some services that are going to have to be offered to those who have special conditions, but there are also services that I would believe anybody would like to live somewhere where services are offered where you live, just for you to have a better environment to live in. So let's get down to it. I talked about $35 million plus in 3 different communities. And we have Vine City. Anybody know where Vine City? Show you by show of hand. That's pretty much the area between Joseph Lowry, Joseph Boone, Northside Drive, and MLK. In Vine City, we're going to invest $26 million over the next 3 years, primarily on the corner of Joseph Lowry and Joseph Boone. We're headquartered on the one street over called Rock Street. So let's go through the investments that's going to be on the Vine City area. The first project, which you guys have probably seen this, we had a Quest Community Complex 1 and 2. We've completed phase 1. It's open. It's actually the home of Westside Works, and they needed additional space, so we did a phase 2 to create another facility, and we will complete that project in March of 2018. So we're happy to be able to provide this type of service to Westside Works and the Blank Foundation. What's unique about this product is that Quest, as a nonprofit community development organization, used this capacity to develop for a nonprofit who didn't need to come out and figure out how to learn how to develop a property, right? Westside Works is around training people around workforce development. It's not building properties. That's what we do. So it was a great partnership to be able to build this community facility and house Westside Works, and they're doing a great job. This is a picture of what the phase 1 looked like on the corner of Rock Street and Joseph Lowry. And this is phase 2 that will be completed on March 2018. You guys probably have driven by this building and seen the construction going on. If you haven't, I invite you guys to come down Joseph Lowry and take a look. And don't be deterred when you see the plastic on the front of the building on phase 2, because I got to tell you, we had an accident on the property. We had a young lady that did a right-hand turn off of this street that you see right here, and somehow her SUV ended up in the building. And she didn't have any driver's license, so. But that's why you got insurance for, right? Okay. So just trying to give you a sense of what you deal with when you're out here developing. So some of these entrepreneurs that I heard when they raised their hand and they said, I'm an entrepreneur, or I'm a new real estate developer, these are some of the things that you're going to have to deal with, but they make you stronger. Wow, this is sensitive. This is messing up my flow. I got flow going. I got the mojo going right now, boy, I'll tell you. So, Quest Commons West, very, very, very excited about this product here. This is affordable housing, and let me break it down to where I believe where we're different when we think of a product. We think about the triple bottom line, and that's financial, environmental, and social. The social piece is really the piece that we look for in our developments. So what we've done on these 53 units, we decided what is a population that's hard to serve, that's having a hard time finding affordable housing, and how could we bring forward a product that's going to serve them. So in this 53 units, we are actually going to serve, 70% of this building will serve persons that are 60% AMI or below. We also can't not develop a product without offering services to a particular population. So you see a 20% of supportive housing at persons that are 50% or lower, primarily around 30%. Because services is in our DNA, we constantly push for the ability to serve persons with disabilities in the framework of affordable housing. And then there will be 10% market units. So 5 units out of this 53 units is going to be for the market. This is going to start in August of 2018, and we should be finished by August of 2019. A few renderings of what Quest Commons West would look like. I pushed that one time, and it flickered 3 times. Maybe it's a delay. 1. 1. Be a hero. I got to get my superpowers going. Okay, I'm ready. You see me do the eyes? Change. You better change. So this is Quest Commons West, this is going to be on Rock Street in Joseph Lowry in Vine City. This is a front view. This is another view. This is all apartments for families. This is one of Quest's first properties that we're actually going to be serving people with children. Out of our 269 units, all of them are single individuals because we birthed ourselves in housing persons with disabilities that was addicted to drugs or had a mental illness, and they were chronically homeless. That means they've gotten rid of all of their support base and they're living with us. So now we've decided to just make this model available to families and other people that are low income. So we're very excited about that. We're going to have children in this building. Our board members have reached out to Hollis Academy to inform them of the new units coming on board, and there may be an influx of children that will be attending the school next year. Our flagship product, this is Quest Nonprofit Center for Change. We're in the middle of a capital campaign, working with Cox Curry as our fundraising consultants, and this is a very unique product. If anybody knows where the Family Dollar Plaza is on Joseph Lowry and Joseph Boone, Quest has had the ability to acquire that property, and now we've decided that we want to do something about what's going on that corner. So we reached out to different professionals and we got some feedback from the community, and we wanted to present a nonprofit center for change that's going to house multiple nonprofits, multiple ones that are in this room today, and deliver services collectively, not just we're just delivering services in the community. This is going to be an organic, an intentional, and a purposeful center that's going to offer services to residents and businesses. Remember, residents and businesses on the West Side. Let's take a look. Before I take a look, let's talk about some of the services that are going to be offered. We're going to have housing. Obviously, Quest is going to do the housing component. We'll have fresh fruits and vegetables. We'll have incubator space. We'll have flex community meeting space, something very similar to this. We'll have a very strong financial hub, partnering with the On the Rise Financial Center and Quest Pay Services and Quest Money Solutions to really bring economic inclusion to the area. We really want people to do their banking relationships here at this center. Our goal is to bank the unbanked and have services for them, but also have services where persons who can be banked could use these services as well. This is a 30,000 square foot building that we're trying to incorporate features from the community and other things that's going to stretch the limits for growth on the West Side. Hope you guys like the way this building is looking. Family Dollar and Something Something Cafe, which are our current tenants in the building now. We're working to make sure that we have a place for them to be in our new setup. And this is the rear of the building where we've tucked the building in the ground, and we've in a sense turned it around backwards so that it faces the apartment communities that you can see to the rear, which is Quest Commons West. So just think about this area here. I don't know if you can see that white right on top of the back of the building. That's actually the apartment community. And that rounds out to $26 million that's going to be in the Vine City community. Now let's jump over to English Avenue, which is a neighboring community, a sister community in our eyes. English Avenue, we're starting with our Quest Legacy homes. We've had the ability to purchase 22 single-family lots over the years, and we are now rolling out what we're calling Quest Legacy Homes. In Quest Legacy Homes, there's 7 rental homes and 7 home ownerships. We have actually completed our first home. We're going to have a grand opening for that home or a key ceremony on March the 2nd. And this home is, again, a unique process is because Quest is building this rental home and we are not offering the services at this home. We've actually partnered with Chris 180 to be able to place young adults ages 19 to 24 aging out of foster care to live in this home. Hey, thank you. To live in this property. So again, I hope that you're hearing the theme and seeing the theme that Quest doesn't just look at a property and just try to build it just to have a structure there. We have to purposefully plan what's going to go on in that house. So thank you to Chris 180, and also we were able to keep costs down by using Habitat Atlanta as our general contractor. This is a view of houses that was designed by Mayweather Enterprise and Habitat as well. This is a 2-story home, 1,600 square feet, and this would be one of our home ownership models, which is going to be on James P. Brawley, and this property is at 469 James P. Brawley. This is the second home that will be going up starting March the 3rd. And this is a rendering of the house that's completed. Oh man, that's completed currently, and it's at 484 James P. Brawley at the corner of Cameron Alexander and James P. Brawley. And if any of you have been to that corner has some challenges, to say the least. If you guys have been over there, there've been a lot of services and a lot of agencies working to clean that area up. And I want you guys to know that in the open market, one might say, don't build a house on the corner where the drug dealers are, where people are hanging out and doing nothing all day long. But in community development, we have to push that risk and take that risk and get out there and be the catalyst for growth. So if you notice, you're going to see Quest coming out of the ground with products, even if the market says don't do this. Because remember, it's not about that financial profit that we're looking for. We're looking for that social change, right? So we got to go when the need is, and the need is now. The need is now. We got to get together, everyone, and we got to get projects out the ground right now. Okay? If you don't hear anything else, hear that today. We got to get going. Moving on. Better. Okay. So that was my mean look. You saw that? So Grove Park. Grove Park, another sister community, just one community over. We've had the we've had the opportunity to acquire an abandoned 40-unit property that had been sitting for multiple years. We were able to attract $7 million to the project to actually demo this property and bring back 40 brand new apartments for older persons. And this is persons that are 55 and older, living at the 30% AMI or lower. That's almost extremely low income. The unique piece about this one is that this has a 30-year affordability period to it. I want to say that again. It has a 30-year affordability period to it. The goal and mission of Quest is to have permanent affordability. So for us to be able to stretch out a project to make sure that these units are going to be available for older persons for 30 years at an affordable rental rate, it's just, I haven't seen it out there. Here's a few renderings of what this 40-unit development would look like. It's called the Residence at Holly. It's at what's the address? 339 Holly Street. And this is going to be the 40 units. With the city was able to leverage the $7 million that we put into this, that we've secured for this building, and we'll start building this probably around a few months from now, and it'll take 11 months to complete this product. But the city was able to leverage the $7 million that we were able to secure from the city, from the state, from the Federal Home Loan Bank and others, and tear down and abandon 125 units that sit directly across the street from this property. So not only are we addressing blight, we're addressing abandonment, we're setting the stage for additional growth. So we're very excited about this product, and we feel that it's going to be a catalyst for change in the Grove Park area. I laugh because this thing is killing me. Okay, so let's go on. So I wanted to circle back. You get it? Circle back. You see the circles? I wanted to circle back to one of my first slides. I talked about organizations and partners that were out there that had these new market tax credits, right? If you look at our partners, I had, what, 5 on the list? 4 of them we partner with already, right? And so I'm trying to show how Quest products are brought to, quote unquote, the community, and how many people actually touch the Quest product. So if you work at Quest, quickly raise your hand. Keep it up. If you're a board member at Quest, raise your hand. If you're with the Blank Foundation, raise your hand. If you're with Westside Future Fund, raise your hand. If you're with Chris 180, raise your hand. If you've participated in any of our 5K run walks, raise your hand. If you're with the Conservation Fund, raise your hand. If you're with Trust for Public Land, raise your hand. If you're with Chick-fil-A, raise your hand. If you're with Westside Growers, raise your hand. If you're with District 3, raise your hand. Keep them up so people can see. If you're with Cox Curry, raise your hand. If you're with Silverman Construction, raise your hand. If you're with Home Depot Foundation, raise your hand. Keep it going, keep it going. Keep your hands up, keep your hands up, because I want people to be able to see, did I miss anybody? Vine City Trust Fund, NPUL, if you're with Hollis Academy, you're with Mayweather Enterprise, if you're with City Council, if you're with SunTrust. What I'm trying to say, if you're Pastor Johnson, all of these people, we've touched these projects. What Quest is going to have to do on a better day is make sure you all know that you're all touching these projects. Sometimes I'm not sure if everybody knows that they're touching the projects. We need to be more intentional and more purposeful, because sometimes we have a project going up and we have a neighbor developer that we don't know, and all of a sudden they're bringing out a product that was within 6 months. And if we were talking, we could have had a better impact and brought those products out together. So let's talk. Business says keep your ideas to yourself, right? Because you don't want somebody to know about them and you want to be first out. Not when you're trying to serve. When you're trying to serve, you got to tell everybody. You got to tell everybody, right? Hey. So, in closing, ways that you can get involved. I think John did this well. Our capital campaign is still underway. We're trying to raise $8.9 million. We're currently at around 80% of that raised. Thank you to our team and our co-chairs that are here today, Ron Austin with SunTrust and our consultants with Cox Curry. I want to say thank you to them for helping us raise this money. We are a few dollars short, so we are looking for people to get involved through hard donations, but also in-kind donations. We also have opportunities for volunteer opportunities for the Quest Legacy Homes. They are traditionally the habitat model of habitat training volunteers to come out and be a part of the build. And then we also are working with a few groups and a few professionals. One of them here today, our development consultant, Brunel Hall. And we're actually looking to stand up before the end of 2020 a Quest Social Impact Investment Fund. And we're just looking for corporations, foundations, and individuals to be able to donate to us so that we can use those funds to keep these products going. And I cannot leave the stage without honoring Black History Month and also So that means that Rodney is not the only one that's going to talk a little bit about Dr. King today. And I just want to end on one thing, a quote that Dr. King once said, because he's lived in Vine City, I'm pretty sure all of you guys knew, but he lived right over the way. And he said, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. He said, you don't need a college degree to serve. You don't need your verbs and your subjects to agree to serve. You don't need to know Plato or Aristotle to serve. You don't need to know the second theory of physics to serve. I messed that one up. All you need is a heart full of love, of grace, and a soul full of love. I'm Leonard Adams. I live on the West Side. I play on the West Side. I work on the West Side, and I serve on the West Side. Thank you.
Well, I think if we could, and that was awesome, thank you. We always like to adjourn right at 9, and we don't want to respect the clock limit. If you don't, and I know I'm sure there are questions, and given all the work that the great work Quest Communities is doing in Vines, English Avenue, and Grove Park, if folks have questions, you'll be willing to, and your team can hang out for a minute after 9 o'clock to make sure if people wanted to ask a question that they got the opportunity to ask the question. I know there's questions. We just like to be good about the adjourn time. So hang out and ask questions.
The people want to ask, John. We got to get 2 or 3 in real quick, John.
Real quickly.
2 or 3 real quick.
All right.
Got to field some
just
questions.
2. I see the 2 right here, and then we'll.
Got to give the people what they want, John.
Good morning, Leonard. I've attended several meetings, and the subject of affordable housing and affordable rents keep coming up. Most of the people, well, not most people, a great deal amount of people pay rents about $400 a month for whatever they can get. But everything I've seen for development, the affordable housing or rent figure that people have been suggesting doesn't even look anywhere near $400 a month. So what is your feeling, or what is your figure for what is affordable rent?
Can I give you the Quest answer for affordable rents?
Yeah.
Okay. The Quest answer for affordable rents is 30% of your income, whatever your income may be. Currently, out of all of our units that we have subsidies that's able to help the resident that's actually living there. So the rent is set, but the government is taking up majority of the hit. Persons that live with us, if you have $700 a month, you're paying about $200 in rent with utilities included. So we're looking to take that model of heavy subsidies and 30% max on your personal income as affordable rents.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Jay.
That you did an immaculate job. Matter of fact, I want to ask, how can J.R. Joy and Reflect Garden and Bees can get there?
Well, you know what? He's asking about the Nonprofit Center for Change, right? We do have space that we're programming out, and a beekeeper, honey type of thing may play really well with Westside growers and our coffee cafe, so I would encourage that conversation to happen. We're looking to support people in the community, and this last gentleman right there, John, if you don't mind.
Which?
Yeah.
All right.
You in a gray suit? You.
All right, last question. Thank you.
It's more of a comment. This is awesome. My wife and I started a community camp back in my neighborhood. I grew up in the Bluff, so I'm all about what you're doing. I was so angry about what we can do, what can I do to be a part of the change. The change is coming, and I didn't want people to look like me to be displaced, to be out. I started a commuter program. I got my dream job, and I walked away from my dream job because my son hit me with something one day. I was cutting the grass, and he said, "Dad, can you take me downtown?" I was like, "Sure, go catch the bus and get some money." He's like, "Dad, I don't know how to catch the bus." I felt like a failure. I grew up in the city, and I rode my bike around every community. But then it hit me that I didn't teach my son, because we all do. We drop our kids off everywhere. Everywhere. We have stifled their socialization, their growing, their growth. And so I started this camp. And I want to know what I can do to help the West Side, the side that I grew up on, because I do believe the West Side is the best side. Booker T. Washington grad, Clark Atlanta grad. I want to know what I can do to help you. It was phenomenal, man. Big kudos to you and your team.
Thank you, sir.
I got an idea for you. Do you want to say anything?
That was more like a comment. It wasn't a question. But you did say, what can you do, right? Well, I can tell you what you can do. Collaboration is key, right? You have a program, obviously, it's serving youth. I would say we definitely would need to get the people in the room that are serving youth on the West Side to be able to talk with this gentleman and see if there's a way to have this program in some of our footprints. We're constantly looking for complementary programs that are those unique programs in the summer only, after school. We're getting into serving families, so we're very interested in talking with anybody who's serving youth, because well, that's not our specialty, and we want to have a partner that could show us the way on that.
All right. So thank you. As we close up, saw a few more people come in. I wanted to recognize Councilman Ivory Young, also on the board of the Westside Future Fund. Thank you for being here. And a couple of our staff partners. In the back is Justin Carr. He's our Director of Partnerships. So we think about it, as Leonard said, it's all about collaboration. So Justin leads our collaboration efforts with partners on the West Side. And then our Chief Financial Officer, Leanne Groom. There she is, kind of an all-in player. So 2 more from the Westside Future Fund. To getting involved, we'd love for you to, get on Leonard's webpage, also the Westside Future Fund webpage, a way to keep up with what's going on and get engaged. You can come back in a couple weeks. Our next speaker is Chris 180. They work closely with Leonard, making the big difference in the lives of young people on the West Side. So it's 9 o'clock, or a little past. We're adjourned. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your attendance. Have a great weekend.